You know, we have 2 applicants here, right? 2?
Yeah, he apparently, that Linnea didn't turn one in.
Did you want 2?
Somebody told me, Casey said it was Roger, that she's taking some kind of job in Boise.
Oh, really?
Yeah, remember I told you that
Oh, yeah,
last
he
week?
said
Somebody
something
had said
about
that?
it or something.
Yeah, and I was mentioning it to Casey the other day, and she said, yeah, Roger said that when he was in. I don't remember what she was doing though. Must be something with horses.
Thought it could be.
We've got 3 different letters of recommendation. I guess we can all read them and then swap and read the next one. But somebody wrote for you, Stacy. So that's why we're not interacting with you at this time.
Thank you for reading them.
Yeah. Dwayne went to St. Regis, so I had to help him with a few words, but he's okay.
Let's not even go there, Ro.
He's used to my humor. He knows I'm not serious.
He's probably right.
That's what spell check's good for.
That's right. I can't even make it work.
Although that
most
doesn't
of the
always
time.
work. On the highway patrol, I had some guys that relied on spell check, and that, you know, there'd be a death on the highway, and they called the corner, like the corner of the street.
Yeah, it changes.
Not the coroner, the
Correct.
corner. Spell check said, that's right, so. Yeah, okay. What's AIU online? What's that?
It's just an online course, American Intercontinental University.
Mm.
And I was gonna get my HR degree when I first started at Triton.
Oh, okay.
It didn't pan out.
And Stacy, you have already done some of these so far with me, so make sure you were keeping track of mileage, right? So-
Yes, I was reimbursed
So-
from Triton.
Oh,
For
from
all of
Tricon.
that.
Well, it's in our fund to reimburse whoever's doing that, so. Regardless of where the dust falls today on a decision, I wanted you to be reimbursed for the
Okay.
work thus far. Casey, do we have any questions today, or are we just kind of going off of the resumes and,
Kind of looking over stuff.
okay? We're not making a decision today?
I think so.
And are we awaiting other applicants for screening, or we just got 2 and that's it?
Well,
So far, too.
there was a deadline. when
Yeah.
they advertised.
What's the deadline?
Last
Um,
Friday.
If you flip over that job description, there's the copy of the newspaper ad.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it said initial screening was last Friday, but we had all those budget hearings, so we didn't get to it, so.
Okay.
Look at the other one there, or either one, I don't know.
Which one, of the letters?
No, I was just.
Oh, yeah,
looking
look at that.
Applications,
Roman, can I speak?
Oh, yeah.
Just a quick question. Sounds like there was 2 applications, there's a deadline that was already met. Is there any reason why we wouldn't wanna just make a decision, move with it, so everything can get rolling?
I was kinda wondering about that myself.
Yeah, I thought we were.
You know, if we had 5 or 6 applications, I could see narrowing it down or something like that.
Yeah.
Give me a minute, I'm stepping outside the office.
We got room to stretch out.
Okay, I wanted you to sit here so I could put
See,
more on
but-
there.
yeah.
Oh, did I miss anything?
No, they were
no,
just
Okay.
I
talking
was
about
just
the
looking through
fire.
So one thing that might,
Look at it.
one thing that might come up if this is awarded to you is the fact that you work at Tricon. So are people, just make sure people, if you get it, make sure people know that it doesn't mean that the logs have to go there. It can go wherever. I mean, because you're
Yeah.
kind of doing 2 jobs and well, I don't want people to think there's a conflict like that.
Right.
I know,
Yeah.
Ellen was gonna look into that. Did she, or?
I don't know if she has had time.
What was that, Lori?
Ellen said that she was gonna check into that, and I didn't know if she had a chance to or
Hmm.
not, if it was a conflict or not.
I think as
I
long
spoke to her.
Hmm?
as long
I
as
called Ellen.
You did?
I think as long as
What'd
people
she
know.
say?
And she said that she recommended me to apply for the job,
Good.
so I applied.
Yep. Thank you.
Did you get a chance to look at her application?
No, I didn't see George's.
She went to school in Wyoming.
In Wyoming? That's worse than St. Rita.
Yeah, I know it. I don't think they call it Sin City, Wyoming.
I would like to clarify one thing, you know, what you were saying about making sure that that's known.
Yeah.
Really, you know, in this Title III program, any merchantable product has nothing to do with it. As far as what gets done on the ground and stuff like that. So, the ones I've been involved with, there's nothing mentioned about, you know, what you're gonna do with the logs. It's all been about what you're gonna do around your property.
Right.
The mitigation measures are gonna take.
Hmm. And there's some mitigation that there's no product at all, it's just brush being pulled.
Right.
I'm just saying that people, I'm not really too worried about it, but people might not understand that
Right.
it's actually a county program and not a Tricon program.
Right,
Yeah.
understand.
We can assure them we're not gonna write the check for the work, so.
Here's the other one. Is the other gentleman coming in too today? We're just,
The other applicant?
yes.
Oh, that I don't.
Oh, I was talking to Casey. I looking over you.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, so we had it for the 14th, and now we're here today. Are we gonna make a decision today, or are we kicking this down the road?
Well, I don't see any reason why we couldn't. I mean, we've waited. It's kind of up to you, I think, but
And what do you think, Lori?
Well, I think we should make a decision or do it.
Because it's kind of been going on for a while that, I mean, I went out with Stacy and did 10, but
Yeah,
probably
there's-
waiting for the
Yeah,
other,
we're just kind of
There's other
pre-screening right now,
projects
but by
waiting.
the end of the day, we can make a decision, I think.
by the end of the day.
Or I don't know, it's. It's up to you guys, just, I think we need to get the project rolling.
yeah. So do I. I think we've sat on it long enough.
Did you see both of these?
Mhm.
Okay. So the education experience for this job position says, well, first, I guess I'll start with the knowledge. Knowledge of wildfire, forestry, general landscape ecology, well-developed verbal and written skills, experience with national wildfire preparedness, such as Firewise, the ability to work independently, keep their own schedule, ability to assess the quality and impact of program, skills to develop program objectives, measure program outcomes, familiar with or can become familiar with county GIS to research land ownership, good time management skills, computer skills, Microsoft, education experience, College of Technology degree from higher learning institution, experience in managing projects and budgets, experience following directives for reporting and meeting standards for performance. Everybody had a chance to look at the applications and experience.
Is Ellen here today?
Did you want me to see if she was available to come down? or-
Hmm?
Did you want me to see if she was available to come down? or-
Well, I,
We've got 35 minutes for the next agenda. If you want to ask her. a
well, I
question.
just, I mean, every training I've ever gone to, it's, you've got to hire the most experienced person, and I'd like to have her maybe go through the applications and just get her feedback on it, because she is our legal counsel.
I guess to see if she's available. Thanks, Casey.
That's my only.
Is this something for discussion, or is this closed for you guys to talk?
No, we're-
No, we're open to
All the input, the better.
discussion, so.
Right, well, I'd like to throw my 2 cents in.
Mhm.
You know, what I don't, the way I've always lived, proof is always in the pudding. You can get baffled by a bunch of stuff in life, but when the results is what it's about, getting things done. And if you look at the track record right now, when it pertains to Title III, in a comparison between the 2 applications, which one is getting things done on the ground? Which one's out there working the brush and putting projects together? So when you talk experience, there's a ton of experience right there, within 40 to 50 projects.
And then in talking with some people around, I think one of the reasons that this has taken off so fast is that Stacy has been there communicating with folks, you know. I have talked to a few folks that weren't real happy with the other applicant on past projects. So you can look at that too.
Is this an ongoing, the money you have now, is that the end of it, or is there any,
Well, it's the end of it if we don't get renewal of the secure rural schools.
oh, I see.
Yeah.
So that's where it came from.
So, yeah.
Yeah, it's part of that SRS.
Yeah.
There's Title I, Title II, Title III, when we get this SRS money.
So if Secure Rural Schools is renewed, is it a given then, that that's gonna be part of it?
Yes,
There'll be
yes,
some,
there's, yeah, they split
some
it up
money
3
attached
different
to it.
pots.
May not be the same amount, but there'll be some
Yeah.
aspect of Title III.
So it's likely there'll be more, because I'm pretty sure we're gonna get a short term.
At least another round of.
Fix.
It sure sounded like it the other day, didn't it?
Yeah, I think we're gonna get a short-term fix on SRS, so, there should be another shot of something now.
Yeah.
Okay.
And hopefully there is until they get some forest reform going and we're back to the 25%.
Generates more revenue. for
Yeah.
the community.
And then you could set up a program and do it yourself,
Yeah.
you know?
Good morning.
You know,
I saw this on the agenda and next thing you know, I get to typing something and I forget about it.
How are you today?
Good.
Good.
This is our Butte girl, this is our county attorney.
Hello, I'm Ellen. Hello. Well, hello. And I think you all three were here. I remember. Okay, good. All right. All right, so what's cooking?
So we've got 2 applicants for the Title III coordinator.
Okay.
And we just kind of, I mean, I talked to you the other day about, when we were interviewing
For the clerk
for
and
other
recorder.
departments about,
Yeah.
Here's
our
our
guidelines
job
and what we
description
can get
and
sued for and
education.
what we
And then
can't.
we
So
have
I
two,
just don't
Okay.
want in another.
Do we want to do interviews or have you already done
Well,
interviews?
one of them
No.
is present.
Yeah,
Okay.
It's kind
one's
of-
present
And it's kind of like, there aren't necessarily questions
No,
made up
no.
for this, it's
I
just sort of.
want to cover our,
Okay.
What we
that's what Tim
actually
wrote.
want to do, Ellen, is hire today and try and move this along like
Yeah.
we did the last time
And
we sat here and discussed
So
it.
Stacy
Okay.
Neal is one of them, and she's present.
Right.
The
and
other one
she-
is George Reagan, he is not present, but he did submit his resume and experience.
Okay, and Stacy did call me because I said I would do some checking to see if there was a potential conflict. She did call me and I said I haven't had a chance to look yet, but I did suggest that she apply anyway because I
And-
thought, I
And
don't
what I
want her
did
to
say
miss
was
that
that
opportunity.
if she were awarded this job, just to kind of make it clear to, or make it known to the landowners that it doesn't necessarily mean that any of the timber on their projects has to go to the mill that she works at.
Right. And she understands that. I think she, yeah.
And even Willie does. At first he raised his hand, but
But it's kind of a no-brainer. You know, I've known a lot of loggers around St. Regis that have done jobs and had their own timber, bought their own private patch and gonna sell it, gonna haul it someplace else because they paid $10 more. Well, the time they haul it to that other spot,
it's a wash.
They probably
it's a
lost,
what,
yeah. Mhm.
You know, and then they're going, you know, that really wasn't so smart. But so that'll be the determining factor. If you have one load of logs coming off somebody's yard, you know, or half a load of logs coming off of somebody's yard, where are you going to take? That'll be, you know, and some people might complain about that. Some people complain that I worked there also. Some people have complained that Lori worked there.
Right.
You know, you're going to have to live with that.
Right, and if there's a situation that arises where you feel that there could be a potential conflict or that there's just the air of impropriety, that's when you recuse yourself or you say, you know what, I'm not going to vote on this. You know, you know to do that. So, whoever you decide to hire, I think we're comfortable with it. If it ends up, if it is Miss Neal, I would just like, we have that application. I would like maybe just an additional letter that says, you understand that this is your timber. You can do whatever you want. Now, Tricon, I would assume that would be where people would probably try to say. It's just so
It's the
convenient.
closest
Sure.
way, just
It's
to-
just, it's just the way. So that doesn't to me reek of some kind of,
Conspiracy.
yes. It just doesn't, like you said, it just doesn't make sense. Now, there might be people say, no, I'm going to hold on to my timber for 5 years and build a chicken coop or whatever. But maybe just something additional on this paper that says, as I'm doing this role for Mineral County, I work for the county. And, again, you have the choice of how you want to dispose of your resources that were, culled from your property. And I think we're fine. If that's, if you're thinking of moving forward with Miss Neal.
Okay.
Yeah, because I think in terms of knowing this program, I don't know it very well. Tim knows it better than I do, and I think Miss Neal knows it probably the best locally from just speaking with her and emailing with her. So however you decide to go, I think we're fine in terms of any kind of
And
conflict.
some of these jobs will have no timber on. The one I looked at with her the other day has no timber on it at all. It's all
Right, or there might not even be enough to,
To
Yeah.
sell. It's
Yeah.
kind of clearing brush, or maybe
Right.
just firewood stacked up.
right. Yeah, so I'm fine with that. I think that would cover it just fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just
It doesn't hurt. I think it's a good call because then if I'm wrong, that was my advice, and I'm covered for the county. I gave you legal advice that was incorrect, but I think we're fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. for
Okay.
coming down.
All right. No problem.
Yeah.
All right. It's always nerve-wracking when you get the call to come down and see the big guys, and you're like, oh man.
The big guys.
The big guy. You're the one with the big office upstairs.
Oh yeah. Thank you. Good to
Thank
see
you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay. Well, luckily, since I'm chairman, I don't have to make a motion, so I get to kind of see what direction you guys want to go.
Well, I would make a motion that we hire Stacy Neal as the Title III coordinator.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor of hiring Stacy Neal as our Title III coordinator, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? And then, do we want to decide on the rate of pay? Are we going to go with 150 per project or another number? Sanders County does 100. And thus far, if we were to figure it at 150, we've only spent
125
125 of it.
for the projects, and then 6,000 for the, at the 150 would be about 6,000 if we completed every single one that's been put together.
Mhm. Wait, what are you talking about, 6,000?
Yeah, for the 40 projects that
40
are
projects.
Oh.
ready to go.
Oh, okay, that'd be $6,000.
Including the 10.
Yeah. Well. Is there a motion for the rate of pay per project? That's
Are
probably
you
better.
good with that?
Yeah, like I said, that's what Sanders County wished that they had done.
Instead of the 100.
Because they said it's not quite enough,
Mhm.
but,
For the time. and
You
the-
think 150 is enough?
oh yeah.
Okay.
And then plus mileage then,
Yeah, the government rate mileage, right now it's.
53.5.
Yeah.
I'm good with that.
Okay, I'll move that the rate of pay is $150 per Title III project, and additionally, compensation for mileage at the government rate of pay, which is what,
53.5.
53.5 cents a mile. All in, or wait, I need a second.
Second, I second that.
All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm glad we got it going.
Thank you.
Mhm.
And we're gonna keep it going.
I think, let's see, yeah, we'll probably, when you went to that meeting up at Libby, did you turn in mileage?
Maybe.
Or, yeah, did you go up to that round table?
Yeah, it was, Columbia Falls.
For Columbia Falls?
Yeah, I did, yeah.
Okay.
I turned it in on that forestry.
Oh,
assistance
right, I was
day.
gonna ask if
Yeah.
you did that,
Yep,
yeah.
yep.
There might be a little bit of mileage coming out for this fire stuff that's going on, so I think the last
Oh,
time when
okay.
we had like the Fish Creek fire and stuff, the
Mhm.
mileage back and forth to all the meetings and stuff. that
Oh, sure.
I
Yeah.
turned it in on Title III money before, and
Oh.
we didn't get dinged for it, so.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
No,
what
that
it's
is,
for,
yeah, that
is
is,
for,
yep, yep.
You know,
And I mean, we pay for search and rescue
Yep.
if
Yeah.
they're,
Yeah.
if the sheriff
Mhm.
goes out. So,
yep.
yeah, we may not be able to tap that completely out.
Yeah, it won't be very much, you know. Can't even remember how much it was when on the Fish Creek fire, because I was going to Tarkio twice a day to the meetings.
Yeah.
But yeah,
And then
it won't be very.
If the sheriff, but if the sheriff's office
Yeah.
goes out, they get some too, so we may not be able to go
But
clear at the
it'll
end.
be.
Is there somebody that I can check in with so I don't, like, as we go through these, we can go, okay,
Yeah,
we're one project away from the end or whatever.
Yeah, I think Nicole would be able, I mean,
Yeah.
each time you turn in a bill, then, or you get paid, well then, it'll be taken off the total, and then you can just like check with Nicole, see, okay, how much money is left in this fund, and, I mean, Nicole will be able to keep track of it and give you a printout on.
And then who do I report to for like turning in invoices and things like that for completed projects and.
We'll probably have to sign off on them, won't we?
Yeah, and
before they
then
go
we'll
to
take,
Nicole?
yeah, and maybe, is Tim gonna be involved?
Who?
Tim? Or not?
We can ask, we'll find out if Tim's gonna be kind of the overseer, if we're gonna be the
Yeah.
overseer, or what, we'll find out.
You
And
know, the one
Well,
thing,
actually-
one thing I would recommend that you guys have already been doing just because we had to, is your involvement, you know, when a project's done, going out and looking at it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and just get a, because
Critiquing the work.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'd
and
like to
taking
go on
pictures of everything.
some of them,
you know,
yeah, I think that
yeah,
would be a good thing
yeah.
is.
And I
just
think
take a
she has-
picture of like before and after
Yeah,
type pictures
yeah.
and,
then we've got proof that, you know, if an auditor does want to see something, then we have proof of it.
I have one that's complete if you guys wanted to take a look at the photos on that.
Yeah.
yeah, that'd be great.
This is like a.
All right, thank you very much.
You guys all have a great day.
Yeah, you
All right.
too.
Oh, okay, yeah, this is that
Thank
one
you.
that we.
Thank you.
I have one other question for y'all. So on this AFRC, now that you guys are joining in, it might take us out of the middle of this, but as far as moving forward with Tower and Grizzly and your involvement in that, I take it there's still support no matter what Lawson requests. If he's got letters he needs from you, go ahead and bring them down to you or just shoot him an email.
Oh, you bet,
Yeah.
Right.
you
Good.
bet.
Good.
And I brought the packet for them,
Mhm.
for the sign up.
And the one thing you guys gotta keep in mind too is the state has that money to help with costs on this stuff too. You know, they've got that fund set up for legal
Oh,
in that, you know, through Matt Arnold. So. if
so
you have-
there's legal attached to that
Right.
also, huh?
Right, so if,
Separate from everything that we were awarded,
There's more money.
there's more money besides that, okay.
yeah, so if you gotta use the county attorney to review documents from Lawson or something like that, you should be talking to Matt too to.
Okay.
Matt Arnold, you said?
Yeah,
Yeah,
to help the county out.
the one that awarded us.
DNRC?
Yeah,
It's not a lot of money, but I think there's $5,000 or $10,000.
Right.
So
well, good.
that's for that.
Mhm.
Good.
Excellent. We appreciate your support on that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Some more information for you guys too. We don't know the exact number, but it's over $500,000 that the Forest Service is committing to the Good Neighbor Authority too as seed money.
oh, really?
Yeah, they've
Good.
committed to that. We just don't know, it's 500 and something.
Huh?
So,
Well, that ought to help get that going.
yeah,
That's a big step.
Yeah.
that's a big step, so.
It's moving in the same direction.
Because they were kind of standoffish before.
Right.
It's a good idea, but we're not gonna use it, kind of. I mean, that was the impression I got, you
So
know.
on these projects, then do you like measure out 200 feet and say,
Mhm.
and mark like the
Yeah.
trees, this is whatever, and
Yep,
then,
and that's where they're allowed to go to.
okay.
If they
And-
exceed that, then it's a
Okay,
separate-
so is it the property owner's decision on what trees need to be they want taken out, or, because they're not forestry people, so they don't know,
It is landowner driven.
Okay.
So if they have a clump of trees that maybe is more dense than the 10-foot crown spacing, they have the option to keep it. They don't have to do any of it. They can
Looks
just
pretty
remove
good.
some bushes if they
Mhm.
want.
It looks
Oh,
pretty
okay.
good.
So
Yeah,
it is very
yeah. This is
landowner
Brian
driven.
Alexander.
They can keep
Who's
a
found
tree
it?
that maybe should go.
They moved in from Ohio.
Oh.
right, but then
And
it's
they're not
kind
here
of
right now, but they're
defeating
building, I don't know if
the
it's-
defensible
there's a
space.
spot where they're building a house.
Yeah.
Issue, you know, the whole idea of the defensible
Oh.
space of, well, I only want
Right
one
there,
or two
yeah.
trees taken out, well,
So we.
maybe that would be a
and
project
They wanted it
to
totally
maybe
cleared anyway,
put
so
down the list.
Brian's doing some logging. so
and go
they're-
with the one
they're
that's more,
only reimbursing the 200 feet,
you
the
know,
rest
more.
is, they're paying him
defensible
for
space.
cleaning it
Yeah,
out. so.
these landowners here were very, they wanted it done, almost to
Mhm.
exactly what the guidelines were. And most of them are, you know, most of them
Right.
do wanna do as much fuel mitigation as possible.
Okay.
But there are a couple that just go, "Oh, I just want 2 trees.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Right.
yeah,
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
See you guys all later.
All right, thank you, Willie.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Willie.
Thank you for coming.
Hey, there's another public meeting tomorrow night on the fire down at the Lozo Lodge at 7, I think 7. I'll let you know.
Shyrock preliminary plat approval extension request. This gentleman here, Tim, was asking, is there a representative from Shyrock here today, or no?
No,
No?
cost them major dollars to show up here.
Where are they from? They had to travel.
Lake Havasu,
Lake Havasu.
Oh, really?
they don't wanna crank up their Learjet for this. Quite that important. So they sent in a extension letter, a while ago. They're approaching another date that there was extensions for in the past that they did out there. We conversed about this quite a bit, and the situation was is that they're really close. They want to get this done, but practical speaking, they could not get the final plat submitted to us before this July date. So there was also another issue, is that they wanted a couple modifications for the conditional approvals out there, and the new buy-in owners major gotta pay the bills, was majorly concerned about the amount of pavement that was gonna go in out there and how much it was gonna cost. And anyway, they got together with Frank Ragland and the contractors again and came back and said, it's really close to being cost effective to pave that thing. They wanted to put in at least a 12-foot one-way drive that would be paved instead of a full width surface. But by the time they rustled through it, they've ended up paving the full 24 feet for the Shyrock Drive out there. I didn't bring any of the maps and the plats and stuff. So anyway, that was kind of hanging out there for a while, and that made it get closer to the July date. And I just made a suggestion to them. I said, let's just have a extension process where I present to you good evidence and good rationale of why giving them another 90 days, because what they really need to do at this time, and they've been working on it for over 3.5, 4 weeks, is the covenants. And it's a disadvantage to the new people because it was Frank Ragland and all of his idea about the covenants, and they were aware that they had to have them, but they hadn't really had spent time with them, and in fact they couldn't hardly find them. I ended up finding them all for them. But anyway, and then they had to get a different lawyer to work through the covenants, so they've had all these procedural things that they're doing. So they're working through the covenants and they're preparing the final plat for examination, and that's as far as water and sewer and emergency and all of that thing, they're really done with it out there, but they need to get these the plats and the paperwork finished up to a point that they can come in for that final plat application. And obviously we're going to make it by next week, so that's kind of where we're sitting with it right now at this time. So this is a request for just a simple 90-day extension to the process so that they can get the first plat. We're going to have some discussion about the second phase, the 1B. I went to the Terra DePay's Mako presentation about the subdivision laws that were passed this year, and then the 3 new lawsuits, 2 of them at least out of Valley County, the one, the Legacy Ranch down there, and they wanted some long-term they didn't even call it phases. It was a long-term approval, up to 30 years for
Wow.
building houses down there. It was up to 70 houses. And anyway, that thing, it went to court 3 different ways. I mean, I think, you know, I think the Friends of the Bitterroot sued first, and they prevailed and got the whole thing kicked out, and then the developer sued, and then whatever. And so there was 3 or 4 bills introduced into this last legislative session over that subdivision. And one of them was that we have to work on now and do something that's called, you know, you have to be more specific about phasing and give yourself some sidebars about phasing and stuff. So we're not, it's a little bit germane to this discussion because we've kind of left this phase 1B hanging out there without, you know, do they need any more review to do the second phase or not? You know, my estimation is that they do, and they wouldn't object to that, but it leads to some procedural questions. But
Why did they need more? Can I ask why they need more review? What has changed that, I mean, can you say without?
The one thing that comes to mind is that when we were gonna do the second phase, because MDT did have a real concern about 29 lots, but when you went to a higher lot number, then
All the
they.
traffic.
Well, the whole thing was a traffic impact study that included in Superior for the corner and the access stuff. That's one thing that we talked about time and time again, but since it's MDT's road, you go to them and say, gee, what do you think about a traffic impact study? And they go, yeah, it looks good to us, so. But I just framed it that you guys get to the next phase, and I mean, we're gonna have to see motorhomes going up and down the road first.
Yeah.
before we Get there, but if they start going up and down the road and something transpires, then that's the one thing that I can think of.
Okay.
The other condition that they would have to meet is then, at that point in time, they would be required to have water rights for the water system, because it would be beneficial use. Right now, it's just below that.
I may to talk to you about that when we're done. Now that you brought that up.
So anyway, you know, I mean, this has been a long process, but they are really close to a whole lot closer to the finish point than not.
He got his water tank in, huh?
The emergency water tank?
Yeah.
You know, it's been in for 3 years.
Really?
It just hasn't been filled with water.
Oh, okay.
Because it's a tank that gets filled and rises up out of the ground, so it's kind of an interesting concept.
Huh.
So that's more gallons than the Albert one, huh?
Yeah, this is 40,000.
Yeah, that one. Albert was 10.
Well, they increased the size.
Oh, did they?
No, they went to almost 20. It's effectively 18,000 gallons.
Huh.
Okay, so it's your recommendation that, given these circumstances, we extend it to October 19th?
Yes.
Now they have invested $640,000 into it
Yeah.
last.
Oh, it's a beautiful little setup.
Well, they have a lot of incentive to finish now because they're turning down sales.
Mr. Curtin, do you have any comment on this before we cast a vote?
Well, I wasn't sure what this was about.
Oh,
Reading through here, it looks, my concern was they were looking to change their agreement with the county of it being a motor coach park used from, I think it's April through October, that they wanted it to move in regular mobile homes and have it a year-round park.
oh, like a mobile home park, trailer court?
Yeah.
Oh,
And that's not, nothing has changed in that respect.
No.
Okay, well, that was my main
Oh,
concern,
okay.
because that would give water usage so much more. They
Right.
would use so much more water, and I'm downstream from the aquifer. And several years ago, I brought it up at the meeting, and the state did the test. I think they used a 4-inch line for 48 hours and no changes, so. That was my only concern, that my well would dry up.
Yeah. Yeah, this is,
The neighbors, my neighbors all have approximately the same depth wells, and, which were all got plenty of water. And my main concern from the start was that they were putting, I don't know how many lots is it gonna be for phase 1 and phase 2? Phase 3, how many lots are they totally gonna have out there? I heard it was over 100, but do we have an answer to that?
It's 29 for the first phase and then a total of 79 lots.
total of 79.
So 80 lots total. That was my only
And-
question, and none of those things were changing.
Is he correct that there isn't gonna be any permanent, or is there gonna be?
No, they haven't changed those conditions. Thought about it, but they haven't changed.
Yeah, that's, I thought there was some talk there at one time.
Well, the Baumkirchners are like, whoa, wait a minute, why did that happen? You know, and stuff. Because they're the first people that approached them about a lot up there. They said, well, you know, we could be staying there longer than that. And, you know, we've had that discussion.
Well, I would make a motion if we're done with the discussion, that we grant Shyrock Motor Coach Community a 90-day extension on the preliminary plat.
I'll second that.
Okay, any further discussion? All in favor of the motion, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Seeing none? You got the one original for us to sign? Thank you, sir.
Thanks.
That we received here a month or so ago. If I already have water rights, I'm pretty sure that I filed them when I bought my place. Because Kathy Jasper sent out like a little note to everybody that you should file your water rights, and it was like 25 or 30.
Well, it was
But-
more than that.
Was it more than that? Was it? It's been so long ago.
I think, yeah, it seems like it was like $140 a water
Yeah, I
right
don't-
or something, I don't know.
I know the new one's 125, but I don't remember.
So if I already have water rights, I don't need to do anything
No.
with,
No, you can do
with
that.
this.
And supposedly, there's a web page on the back side of that page at the bottom that you get on that web page and you can check and see that.
See if you do have.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We-
And you got a year to do that.
Yeah, you got to, for any old appropriation, but it really has to be a well that was drilled before 1973, so.
Yeah, and that one wasn't.
If it's
I
not-
know that one wasn't
yeah.
because they
If it's not
drilled.
a surface water or well drilled before 1973, this process isn't really, it's not applicable.
Oh, really? So where does that fall in then? I mean, what kind of water right do you have? Do you have no water right? Is that what you're saying?
Well, no, they're saying that there was wells and there were sources out there, but, you know, people presumed, thought they did, you know, they had it, they thought it was intrusion by the state to do that because they wanted that information to say, this is how we're gonna adjudicate, but since the 73 and the information system and the way well drillers had to submit well logs and things, they're confident that they have those. It was an absolute requirement to be a well driller to submit the well log and the form on the back that the people said, and that's what assigned you the water right. And so they're saying, since 73, we've had a good enough system that we don't have to worry about it. So we know that those wells are out there, and we know a date because the well driller gave us a date, and that establishes your priority. So, but before that, we're not. And, you know, we had 200 and some well logs filed up here in the clerk and recorder's office. I had Candace go through and we looked at every one of those well logs and we only found 6 or 7 of them that weren't in the system.
Huh?
I was surprised.
Was I in the system?
Well, no, I mean, these are the ones from the sixties,
Oh,
yeah.
because I,
On the agenda, so I'm just coming in for public comment. And and probably then after maybe making an appointment, I don't know. But I wanted to take Dawn back off of probation because it looks like she's stuck in a $8.50 an hour wage. And since we haven't done budgets yet, but I think that you just hired a clerk for a clerk's position and was Stacy for $10 an hour.
Mhm.
So I'm just, can we get Dawn up to that? Can I take her off probation and we can do that also? I mean, I know we haven't budget set, but that just doesn't seem fair for my employees still to be making less money. So I don't
Yeah,
know.
so two things. One, the probation is so that they understand thoroughly the job. So are you just wanting to address the pay, or is she actually ready, in terms of probation? 'Cause
I think she's ready in terms of probation. When she hired back, she had 2 weeks left of probation, so I let her get to that point, but she'd only been there 2 weeks.
Mhm.
Now she's been,
Mhm.
maybe June, July, almost 3 months, and is doing well, has picked everything back up like she
Mhm. hadn't
left, so
Yeah.
I'm happy with her performance. I can certainly do another,
Uh-huh.
evaluation on her, if that's needed, but like I said, I feel bad for her wage if that's not what the starting wage
Mhm.
is for a clerk, and she's still
Yeah,
at that lower amount.
So with the clerk, we set the pay depending on the experience, and the person that ended up getting the job had 16 years experience at the school district with QuickBooks and Black Mountain and payroll and claims and elections at the school. So that's why that pay ended up being 10, was to compensate for the experience already under that person's belt to jump into that office, which is way behind. So your employee who's on probation, that's kind of indicative of someone not thoroughly yet grasping the job.
Right. Right.
So if you're taking her off of probation, we just want to make sure that that means she is grasping the job and not just trying to make an equitable pay for something.
No, she definitely wants an equitable pay, but she's doing very well.
Okay.
I mean, I'm more surprised, because when she left, I wasn't real happy with her performance. And since she's been back,
Mhm.
she's beyond, she's
Yeah.
learning everything as it comes.
Okay.
Great with customers and
Mhm.
doing, I think, quite well, so.
Well, and being it's public comment, we can't really talk or decide today, but we can certainly,
Exactly, but-
we can certainly accept your submitted report of her probation.
Okay. And then
And then-
going forward, I need to wait until after budgets, or where do I go with?
Well, if I remember right, off of probation, there wasn't a 50-cent bump off of probation, wasn't there, attached to that?
I don't know if it
Original
was,
job?
there was never ever anything mentioned in the minutes, so
Oh,
I
there
don't
wasn't?
know. Yeah, and that, we looked back and
Oh,
we
did you?
could never
Okay.
find anything, so.
Okay,
Yeah.
so when
Um,
should Mary come in and revisit this?
And then, yeah, I would just come in and say, she's off probation now, and
Mhm.
Okay, so I'll just make a time with.
Okay.
Okay,
yeah.
thank
All
you.
right.
thanks, Mary.
Public comment, Mr. Fire Warden.
Morning, ladies and gentlemen.
I smell smoke.
Well, you're going to smell more of it in due time. Did you hear the report this morning?
Yep, Roman and I were at the meeting.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
everybody was asking about Herb.
Okay, so I looked at it last night, and 9 o'clock, I guess it was, from over there, and
They
I-
flew over it last night with infrared,
Yeah.
so they were able to get a lay of how the fire is.
Good.
And so they had it on the map this morning as
Good.
to where it went, where it's spotted. And so because, they had the trigger point as if it crossed Meadow Creek, that they would put Quartz Creek on stage 2.
Yeah.
And that's what they did, is they put Quartz Creek on stage 2 evacuation, so. They
This
were
morning?
going in and letting those people know, that they are on stage 2 now,
Okay.
and,
That was this morning, they're gonna do that?
yep, yeah, in fact, I just got a.
How many places are,
My mother-in-law is the only full-time resident, but then there's half a dozen other, you know,
Summer homes.
summer cabins and in and out of there. But I contacted all of them too to make, because when the guy went up there yesterday, some of them weren't at their places. And so I contacted all, called them all. I've got phone numbers to all of them, and so I contacted them all and let them know what was going on. And so she just said that he was just in there, and they were going to then now start, you know, putting hoses, running some lines and sprinklers and stuff for structure protection.
They're gonna go state to high
Oh,
extreme,
oh,
okay? The forest has not gone that way yet. Superior District is gonna go to high extreme, and they'll get some brochures out on that yet today. We won't know officially, I suppose you could say that, till Monday's telephone call. But one other time, we took the step and went ahead, and they did not really like the Superior District breaking with the others because, but anyway, that's the word today, we've gone to extreme. That curtails fires and a variety of activities, and they'll get some brochures out on that yet today. There's his initial attack crew, I think is how I said it. I said, well, you got 3 here for initial attack. He said, these are all Sawyers, they don't know anything about fire. They did get 6, I think it was, from Prescott, Arizona. And that's the one where they burned up the other guys a couple of years back. But they are on initial attack. I did not see them this morning, but I saw them last night when Jim was talking. And
So when will the extreme be effective then?
it's effective now.
Right now.
For Mineral County. And we'll get those on the.
So I can't have a campfire tonight.
Well, you can have a campfire if you don't get caught, it's all right, but if you get caught, look out.
If I start a fire, then I'm in trouble.
Only if you get caught.
There you
Yeah.
go. All right.
So that goes for mowing your lawn too, if it's
Yeah.
dry, you know, it's.
yeah, that's with me. I stay
It's
within
too dry
the
to mow.
green spot now, so.
It's all dead. Why mow it?
That's right, that's right, yeah. Okay, so for Mineral County, that's official,
Okay.
but as far as being announced out of Missoula or someplace, they probably will not announce that till next Monday, because that's when the phone call
So,
comes in.
so is that like stage whatever, where there's no campfires, not even in designated rings?
Only in designated ring, like in the campground there,
Mhm.
yes,
Then they can have it.
they can have it. But, yeah, so anyway, it went pretty good last night, I guess.
Yep, yep.
It was going good.
Yeah,
At
it
9
was.
o'clock, it was
Yeah, the type 2 team will be in today and brief today, and they'll take command of it tomorrow at 6 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah. So, okay.
And now, and they were saying today now that there are evacuation notices out, and there's structures are being, you know,
Prepared.
compromised,
Okay.
that they'll be able to get more resources now. So,
I think that was famous last words he used to say, you can get more resources now.
whether they're available or
Yeah.
not, I mean, they can ask for them, but whether they get them or not might be another story.
They've got everything in California.
Yeah, we're low priority.
Yeah. Was there any big birds out there, or just the little ones?
There was one double there
earlier
in the week, but it's not there now. Just,
Did they give a figure of the acreage this morning on that?
I think 482.
Oh, 500 acres, okay.
Almost 500
Okay, 500,
acres,
okay.
yeah. But then when I was at the public meeting last night, we heard a helicopter go over, and Teo was there.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, I see he went over to Carol and he said something about somebody had reported that,
Fire up First Creek.
is that where it was
Yeah.
First Creek, kind of First Creek Nemoti something? Anyway, so were they able to get on it and?
There was no fire there, it was
Oh.
the smoke from the
Oh,
fire.
from
the
So
other one.
if you go over, people looked up and saw the smoke and thought they had a fire up there.
Oh,
That was
good.
all right. You know, it's better to look
Yes,
and
good.
not,
I was worried that when it gets started over there and,
we'd be in trouble, yeah.
yeah,
No.
yeah. They moved the fire camp out to Wheeler's Field from the.
Well, I knew they were supposed to, yeah, yeah.
So. Well, where's that, I mean, there's a Tatanka Hot Shots. They had like 3 bands of them. They came in.
Only resource we had, I think, yeah.
They got another busload last night, and anyway, they were.
Well,
some more
don't
coming
we
in.
got some local?
We had, on the initial go-around, we had 15 people, and a 20-person hotshot crew when they first, and there was nothing they could do really,
Yeah.
just the way everything was. And so then they backed off some, and then they had the Sawyers cutting it out, but then it kept spotting over, so they just pulled them out, because there was no need for that. Then they had the grader opening the roads, and they thought they held it pretty good along the line
top.
on the top. But I'm sure that, looking at it yesterday, you could see 3 little smokes where the fire started and it went that way. But last night, it decided where those 3 little fires were, it just came this way and up over the hill there.
Yeah.
It-
They had a pretty good map of it this morning.
Good, good. So, okay, that's all I've had in knowing.
Yeah, they're gonna have another, information meeting, I think tonight,
7 o'clock
7 o'clock, I
at the
think, I
Lowe's.
think, yeah, I think it's at the school tonight. Yeah, it's at the school tonight. And then there's a stakeholders meeting in the morning at 9 o'clock, I think. They're gonna send, they were gonna send out, have you been getting their emails?
No, but didn't.
But
I
see,
looked this
I
morning.
looked on there and they had it spelled wrong.
Oh,
They had, I think Roger Hurd
oh.
instead of Hearst.
Okay.
And so I was gonna mention it to him and then I forgot about it. and-
There wasn't anything this morning. when
Okay,
looked
I
over.
will let them know that
Okay.
you haven't been getting them, but then I did look on there and I saw that they had it spelled wrong, so.
They had you down as Roger Herb.
Where's Herb?
Okay, so then the meeting tonight's going to be at the school here?
Lozo Lodge.
Local
No,
Lodge,
that's
thank you.
tomorrow night at 7.
Oh,
I think the information meeting is tonight. I think at Superior Schools at 7. I will let you know.
boy, they keep
When-
moving
when-
around. People are getting confused.
Well, the public meeting is tomorrow at 7. But
Oh.
these are stakeholder
Oh, he's not talking about
and-
the public meeting.
Yeah.
okay.
But the public meeting's going to be still down there?
Yeah, but the Lozo
That's
Lodge,
a
Lozo
good
Lodge.
place. That
That's
was-
the public meeting.
yeah.